Hey everyone, for today's video, I'll be guiding you over how to build Last Rite, who is the best cryo DPS in Arknights Endfield. I'll briefly be going over her kits and potentials, as well as her best gears, weapons, and teams. Starting off with her kits, Last Rite is a cryo DPS whose whole kit revolves around applying a ton of cryo inflictions onto the enemy. She wants to apply cryo inflictions because when an enemy has 3 or more cryo inflictions, she's able to do her combo skill, which consumes all cryo inflictions to do damage based on how many cryo inflictions were consumed, and it applies cryo susceptibility onto the enemy. Now, this cryo susceptibility debuff isn't only good because it allows cryo characters to do more cryo damage, it's also good because when Last Rite uses her ultimate on an enemy with cryo susceptibility, the effect of that cryo susceptibility is increased by up to 1.5 times the regular amount, meaning that Last Rite will be able to do a ton more ultimate cryo damage when the enemy has cryo susceptibility, which again, her very own combo skill can apply if the enemy has 3 or more cryo inflictions. Do you want to buy more Ori geometry to play Arknights Endfield with the best characters, but you don't want to spend too much money? Well, then you're just in luck, because here's what I've been using lately: Lubar.gg, the most affordable and safest in-game purchase discount platform on the market. Lubar.gg offers up to 26% off in-game purchases. Their in-game purchases are 16% cheaper than the official, and 10% cheaper when using their new users coupon. To save on your top-ups, go to lubar.gg, then choose a bundle, then log into your account in a single-used cloud device. Redeem the pack you purchased in-game just like the official top-up, then log out and your data will be cleared automatically. Now, lubar.gg is trusted by other content creators like Storm and Seal, and that has a 4.9 rating on Trustpilot alongside a bunch of 5-star reviews. So if you want to save up to 26% off when topping up, go to lubar.gg by clicking the link in the pinned comment or description. Now, even though Last Rite will want some allies to apply cryo infliction for her to do everything I've mentioned, she herself will be able to help with this, because her battle skill allows her to enhance the next final strike of the active character, which will allow this final strike to recover some skill points, do cryo damage, and apply a cryo infliction. So here is Last Rite's rotation. She's gonna want to apply at least 3 cryo inflictions onto the enemy by using her allies' skills and her own battle skill. Then she's gonna want to use her combat skill to do a ton of damage and apply a cryo susceptibility debuff onto the enemy. After that, you're gonna want to continue doing this until you can use her ultimate, at which point you're gonna want to use all of your allies' debuffs and buffs, then use your ultimate to do a big burst of cryo damage. For her skill priorities, you're gonna want to prioritize leveling up her combo skill, then her ultimate or basic attacks if she's on field, then her battle skill. This is because her combo skill does the majority of her damage, but her ultimate and basic attacks also do a big portion of her damage when she's on field, and her battle skill does a small portion of her damage, but it'll do a bigger portion of her damage than basic attacks if she's being used off field. For her gears, she's gonna want the Tidefall armor set because it provides 20% skill damage, 35% arts damage dealt after the user applies 2 arts infliction stacks, and the individual pieces of the set provide a ton of cryo damage and ultimate gain efficiency, which are all really good stats for Last Rite because she's a cryo character whose damage mostly comes from her combo skill and her ultimate. For an alternative set, you can use the Type 50 Ying Lung set because it provides 15% attack and up to 60% combo skill damage after the active character does 3 final strikes, which synergizes really well with her battle skill because you need the active character to do final strikes to trigger it, and the individual pieces provide a ton of combo skill damage and other skill damage multipliers. For another alternative, the Bone Crucia set would also be good because it provides 15% attack and up to 60% battle skill damage, which isn't that good considering only a small portion of her damage comes from her battle skill, but the individual pieces provide a ton of different buffs like crit rates, ultimate gain efficiency, combo skill damage, and damage bonus versus staggered that make this set a viable alternative. For another alternative, you can use the MI Security set, since it provides up to 25% attack and 10% crit rate, and the individual pieces provide a ton of crit rate and some cryo damage. damage. For your flex slot, you should use the Link's gloves since they provide ultimate gain efficiency, but using other gears that provide combo skill damage, basic attack damage, lesser ultimate gain efficiency, ultimate damage, cryo or arts damage, or strengthened will would also be good. Now, if you haven't reached the endgame yet, because this game has barely been out for a week, well then you can simply use sets that provide the same stats I mentioned in the flex slot section of the video. For her weapons, her signature, the Cravenger, will be the best because it provides strength, which is her main attribute, a ton of attack percentage, a ton of cryo damage, and a ton of all skill damage, and that'll increase her DPS by around 40% more than a regular 4-star claymore. For an alternative, the Sundered Prince would also be good because it provides strength, which is her main attribute. It provides a ton of crit rate, and it increases her attack by 32% when she's the active character, and that increases the stagger of her final strikes by 90%, which will increase her DPS by around 20% more than a regular 4-star claymore, aka 20% less than her signature. For an alternative, the Seeker of Dark Lung would also be as good as the Sundered Prince because it provides a lot of her main attribute. It provides a ton of ultimate gain efficiency, and it provides a bunch of attack percentage. For another alternative, the Exemplar would also be as good as the Sundered Prince and the Seeker of Dark Lung because it provides slightly less of her main attribute as the other weapons, but it provides around as much attack percentage. For another alternative, the Industry Point 1 will be the only other above average pick since it provides slightly less of her main attribute as the Exemplar. It provides a ton of attack percentage, but it provides less base attack because it's a 4-star, which will make it so that this weapon only increases Last Rite's DPS by around 10% less than the Sundered Prince, the Seeker of Dark Lung, and the Exemplar. For her teams, she's gonna want teammates who apply cryo inflictions, provide arts amps, arts susceptibility, or can apply corrosion or electrification, aka supportive arts reactions. Thus, Artelia, Psyche, Perlica, and Fluorite will be her best teammates. For Psyche, she'll be one of her best teammates because her Final Strike playstyle synergizes with Last Rite's Final Strike playstyle. You see, when you activate Last Rite's battle skill and Psyche's battle skill, the active character's Final Strike will activate both of their benefits, allowing them to do more damage, and receive healing or an arts amp if they're at full health. And even if the active character isn't at full health, Psyche will still be able to provide cryo amp with her ultimate. Also, her combat skill causes the enemy to take more cryo damage for a bit. For Artelia, she'll be one of Last Rite's best teammates because she's one of the best healers in the game. She can apply an arts susceptibility debuff, and she can forcibly apply corrosion to reduce arts resistances when the active character does a final strike, which again synergizes with Last Rite's playstyle. For Perlica, she'll simply be good because she can forcibly apply the electrification arts reaction, which will allow everyone on the team to do more arts damage. She can also do pretty good amounts of sub DPS, and she has really good weapon choices because she's an arts unit character. For Fluorite, she'll be a good alternative to any of the teammates I mentioned because she'll be able to apply cryo inflictions. Now the only reason she'll only be an alternative is because Fluorite can only apply cryo inflictions with her ultimate and combo skill, which take a long time to reload. Thus, her cryo infliction application is really slow, so she'll only be good if you want to speedrun a mission, and she'll only be a good alternative in other scenarios. For her potentials, her P1 lets the active character deal slightly more damage and stagger when they do a final strike with Last Rite's battle skill active. These buffs are very minor, which is why this potential will only increase her DPS by not even 1%. For her P2, it increases her main attribute by 20 and provides her with 10% cryo damage dealt, which are good buffs, but their quantity is really small, so this potential will only increase her DPS by around 5%. For her P3, it increases the damage dealt by her combo skill and ultimate by 15%, which are really good buffs that will increase her DPS by around 10%. For her P4, it reduces her ultimate cost by 15%, which will let her invest into more ultimate gain efficiency gears and weapons, so that she can spam her ultimate much more frequently, which will increase her DPS by around 30%. For her P5, it increases her battle skill's skill point recovery by 5 and the damage dealt by 20%, which is a decent buff that'll only increase her DPS by around 4%. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Goodbye.